Well, it's time now for a look at this Friday's French newspapers and their take on the fall of Gaddafi with our press reviewer, Nicholas Rushworth, who joins me.
Good morning, Laura.
Hello, Nicholas. So we're going to start off with François, and they've got rather a gruesome picture on their front page, as indeed many papers have this Friday.
I'm going to start out with that, and as you can see on this front page here, it is a gruesome picture which we're also showing on France 24, and it's seen all over the world, all over the press this morning, and it's graphic stuff, and I personally find it very stomach-churning. And Libération, the left-wing paper, perhaps in direct contrast, is taking a step back. It's got that same picture of Gaddafi, the late Libyan leader, but in a black frame there, you can see the headline, Fin d'un tyran, the end of a tyrant. Now, in its inside pages, that paper is telling its readers that the National Transitional Council had offered a ransom of $1.7 million as long as Gaddafi was captured alive. So that is information to take in the context of that debate about the circumstances of his death. Now, the editorial writer in Libération, the left-wing daily in France here, says that the manner of this death could hang over the country, much as the demise of the Ceausescus in Romania and Saddam Hussein in Iraq has done. Now, the editorial writer there, François Sargent, says he didn't expect it all to be, in terms of transition in Libya, like a vote in Switzerland, but he does find these images disturbing, and he argues that the National Transitional Council will have some explaining to do about the circumstances of what he says is an execution, if the council wants to remain credible.
And other papers reporting on how Gaddafi's killing has actually become a cause for, of course, for a celebration within Libya.
Now, for the free paper, 20 Minutes, the people of Libya are more important than Gaddafi. There you can see celebrations, and the headline there is La Délivrance, a merciful relief, deliverance for Libyans. Now, Le Parisien, aujourd'hui en France, one of the most popular papers here in France, it has an interview with a son of a victim of a terrorist attack allegedly orchestrated by Muammar Gaddafi. Now, that person, Marshal Chauvet, tells the paper that you can never get over the horror of the cowardice of a terrorist attack. Now, that attack was in September 1989, a flight from Congo to Paris. There's a memorial here in Père Lachaise Cemetery for that flight. It's the UTA 772. Now, Marshal Chauvet says that he has waited for Gaddafi's demise throughout those 22 years, and at the time of his father's death, for him, there was no psychological support. It was incredibly difficult for him to bear.
Okay, so this news perhaps making it that bit easier. But let's move on now to look at the broader picture, the future for Libyans and the diplomatic angle. What are the papers saying about that?
Well, Le Monde is asking that question, and it comes up everywhere. What next for Libya? And it says that there will be obstacles in the transitional process because of tensions within the National Transitional Council. And as elsewhere in the region, the end of Gaddafi could mark a rise, it says, in Islamic militancy, were long kept at bay in the country. Libération, back to that paper, it is saying that Paris, London and Washington can be satisfied with this end game, which results in no trial. However, questions are arising about the extent of the use of force in this Libya mission. Now, it quotes in that article a legal expert for Doctors Without Borders, François Bourget, who says the concept of a dictator, it does not exist in international law, so nothing makes a head of state a target, a legitimate target. Now, the international community had the task of protecting civilians. So she's asking in that paper, how then would an attack, if it took place on a military convoy, as Gaddafi was fleeing, could constitute protecting civilians? Does that fall within the remit? So lots of questions there. And just to end, La Croix is leading. Another fight is now beginning. It argues the war is not won. La fin du dictateur. Everything remains to do, it's saying.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Nicholas, for that look through today's French newspapers.